3, 2, 1.
Film lovers far and wide and members of different military communities have had time to react to the new Top Gun Maverick film. It features actors in real-life fast-jet cockpits, but we've been lucky enough to speak to a US fighter jet pilot to find out just how realistic it is.
I'm Captain Ryan Stormen Schwarzkopf. I'm an F-16 pilot here at Spangdahlem Air Base, Germany, 480th Fighter Squadron. So typically, ask any fighter pilot, they're gonna tell you have to buy them a beer for their call sign story. That's how it goes. I mean, Top Gun in general is, the Navy's weapons school. So we have our own Air Force weapons school. So when they go through their weapons training and become a patch, that's slightly different. Our primary mission set here at Spangdahlem is suppression of enemy air defenses. So primarily going in, looking to avoid, disrupt, destroy, factor enemy SAMs, surface to air missiles. I'm gonna have to say the Air Force F-16 pilots are obviously the best, but I'm sure they will all tell you the same answer pretty much.
The name of the game is speed. What I wanted to know after watching the movie is seeing the cockpit footage, the difference between acceleration and top speed when you really get going, and what that feels like for you.
In a fighter jet, speed is all relative, and what I mean by that is unless you have something to compare yourself to, sometimes it's hard to really tell how fast you're going. So when you're at way up high, 30,000 feet, going Mach 1.2, you don't really know you're going Mach 1.2 unless you're flying past a cloud or something else. And then to take that back low level, flying at 500 feet, 500 knots, when you have the ground rushing by, it's really easy to tell how fast you're truly going. And also performance is just exponentially better in the low altitude environment. The speed is different than the G-force there. So the G-force would be when you're turning, accelerating, going faster. No, it's usually not a strain on your neck. The G-force is most definitely, so you have to be in a good body position and you're doing your AGSM, your straining maneuver to help ensure that you're staying conscious and you have the best vision. Think about like a typical mile in a car. A runway 8,000 feet is slightly longer than a mile. And for us in the F-16, in a clean jet with not extra stores, we can easily be going 400 knots by the end of the runway. They did a good job of a lot of the in-cockpit footage. That's all obviously realistic, it is real. Some of the low-level stuff, like flying between a bridge, you wouldn't want to do that in real life.
I had to ask, in what context would you want to fly upside down?
Just inverted for no reason. There's really no reason you'd want to do that. There are maneuvers, there are times where maybe you'll be rolling upside down to pull your nose below the horizon to descend more rapidly.
What's the hardest maneuver you can pull off?
Game of chicken, you're flying straight at each other and then you're turning to try and gain angles on the adversary and then hopefully outmaneuver them and pull yourself into position where you can employ weapons if you had to. That will be where we experience the most Gs, and that's 9 Gs for us in the F-16. I don't think anyone would ever really, you wouldn't want to intentionally disobey orders. They're always there for a reason. Pilots that go through are, like the movie says, the best of the best pilots. And so what you're seeing there is the advanced level of training versus where you start out, which is in pilot training. Being in a good physical shape helps. Oftentimes you'll land after a flight and you'll be absolutely covered in sweat. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Parachute training, what's in our seat kits, post-ejection checklists, parachute malfunctions if it were to come to that, and even basic survival if you were to be in an area where you're not going to be rescued right away.
Is there that kind of game of cat and mouse where you are pitted against each other?
Yeah, so BFM, you'll be scheduled, you'll know who you're going out there to fly with, and you'll talk about it, what you want to do, how you want to execute it in the flight. There might be the quickest kill, who's able to get the quickest kill in the dogfight, or for ACM where we're doing 2 versus 1, 2 good guys versus 1 adversary.
We're going into combat on a level no living pilot's ever seen.
Not even him.
I think they did a good job of making it enjoyable for someone who has no idea what's going on. For someone who does, it's not very realistic, that exact scenario. You know, flying that close to a SAM wouldn't necessarily, where you're just seeing them right outside, flying up over into a mountain valley, into like a active volcano almost. You're gonna have one chance to do a last-ditch maneuver to avoid a SAM. You're not going to be able to continually almost dogfight a SAM like they did in the movie.
How many aircraft do you think you would be able to, based on your training, defeat?
For that, I honestly don't even have an answer for you, because that scenario would be unrealistic, because you'd have to take so much into consideration, everything down to the weather, pilot experience, pilot ability, the sun, like where the sun is in the sky could make a drastic difference. Realistically, I'm going out there with a 4-ship. I'm gonna have 3 of my friends out there with me.
Having any fun yet?
Funny enough, I do have a motorcycle. There's a few people. A lot of the guys are funny. We're kind of a family, honestly. We do a lot of things together. We rented out a theater and watched it as a squadron. So the whole theater was laughing. So it was a good time. The in-cockpit footage, obviously a 10. That's perfectly real. Everything about it was great. I think they did a great job weaving that into the movie. Some of the other stuff, not so real, but overall, I'm not gonna give them a bad score. I really enjoyed it.